forecasts continue to be updated, and we will continue to track the storm and the National Hurricane Center's update, and we will also use our third-party experts in that forecast update. I want to go ahead and turn it over to our operational Senior Vice President, Darren Carroll.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. I want to start our operations update by repeating something that you heard from Keith, and that is that we heard the calls to action loud and clear in the aftermath of Beryl. And so, as an example of that, and part of our commitment to improve, in late August, we shared the completion of our resiliency initiatives that are shown on the screen. If we can get the next slide, please.
I'm trying to right now.
Okay.
So I'd ask Matt in the back if he can advance our slides ahead a few for Darren.
Great, thank you. Taking together the progress on the noted actions on the slide show our commitment to a more resilient grid for our customers to help reduce the number of and impact of outages from major storms going forward. Ultimately, our goal is to become the most resilient grid in the country, and we will do that. I want to make clear today that we are urgently planning and preparing to respond to the evolving tropical weather situation in the Gulf, also known as Tropical Storm Francine. Specifically, we're deploying more than 1,300 vegetation workers. 600 of those are local, 700 are mutual aid. The 700 mutual aid that have been called to augment our existing workforce are arriving today, and all of them will be on property by this evening. We also have 1,850 local distribution line workers available to work now, and we'll safely deploy them when needed, if needed, following an event. A bit of breaking news from today is that we've also made a request and received confirmation for 1,625 additional support, 1,500 of which are mutual aid and 125 that are damage assessors. The damage assessor's job is, as soon as it's safe to do so, they will go out, look at the system, understand what repairs need to be made, and deliver that information back to us so that we can work quickly to restore power for our customers. We've also got 4 staging sites that are planned, and happy to increase those as needed based on the level of damage. Though at this time, based on our damage modeling that we've done, we do believe that the 4 staging sites are what we would need to move forward with the restoration. We also do have access to 5,000 more distribution line resources as needed if the event were to get worse. It's important to reiterate something that Jonathan shared, which is these, no 2 storms are the same. And even though the path of this storm now, the cone of uncertainty has sort of moved in such a way that it doesn't encompass Houston, we know that these things can shift in a moment's notice, and being unprepared is certainly not an option. That's not what our customers deserve, and that's not how we're going to move forward. Finally, we're remaining in close contact with federal, state, county, and city officials and continue to communicate our pre-storm activities with them. We're also coordinating closely with local government and community stakeholders to identify locations for temporary generation should it be required. Now I'm going to hand it over to Tony Gardner to walk us through how we're communicating with our customers.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your time today. Post-Hurricane Beryl, one thing that we promised was that we do a better job of communicating with all of our customers. As we work urgently to prepare, we want our customers to have plans to address Tropical Storm Francine as well. To support our customers, we are sharing safety and preparedness messages across all of our communications platforms, whether that be social media, our website, email, text, and phone call as well too. So far to date, we completed more than 2.4 million communications that have been sent out to our customers. Those have gone across all of our communications channels that I shared earlier as well too. In addition, we've contacted more than 3,000 of our critical care and chronic care customers. We sent them messages via email, phone call, and or text to make sure that those customers that depend on power to sustain life have the right means set up in the background just in case they do lose power. Customers that are already signed up for Power Alert services, we encourage you all to go out and make sure that you go check those preferences, make sure that you have the right phone number, email address set up so that we can make sure that we send you all out the right messages. On top of that, we encourage everybody that are not signed up for Power Alert services to make sure that you go out and sign up for Power Alert services as soon as possible so that we can make sure that we get you information from a one-to-one basis to let you know what's happening at your premise during a storm-related event. Next, we've secured additional resources to help us in our contact centers so that we can mitigate wait times for our customers as they call into the contact center to get additional information from us as a company. We're committed to communicating with our customers before, during, and after the storm event. Our outage tracker. Following Hurricane Beryl in early August, we launched our new cloud-based auto-scalable outage tracker, which shares information with you all at the city, zip, and county level. It's automatically updated every 5 minutes. It's definitely improved in terms of its overall capabilities, and it also updates every 5 minutes. It's mobile friendly, it's easy to read, and you can access it via your phone. Or you can visit us at centerpointenergy.com/outage tracker to get some additional information. It's also built to handle the increased volume that we may experience during a storm level event. How can you all prepare as well too? It is critical that our customers have a plan to stay safe during Tropical Storm Francine. Here's a checklist that we're sharing up on the screen that customers can follow. Simple things like create a plan and prepare an emergency kit, protect important documents, charge your everyday devices, cover windows, ensure you have generators. To create your own list, we encourage everybody to visit ready.gov so that you can go create your own emergency preparedness list. Residents can also visit ready.gov, or you can go to centerpointenergy.com for additional resources that we offer in terms of communications. With that, I'll turn things back over to Keith.
Thank you, Tony. Welcome the rest of my colleagues here. I don't know if we have any questions in the room. We have a few reporters in the room. Happy to take a couple questions. I know we have other cameras here that are broadcasting. We're also broadcasting this live across some of our social networks as well, so people can get the information. So just a reminder that it would be great if we could hear the question really loud so that we know what's going on.
Sure.
And can provide a response. So just tell us who you are, where you're from, and what's the question.
Marcelino Benito, KHOU, 11 News.
Thank you.
With the updated track now shifting east, are there plans to send any resources to Louisiana? And if so, what's the timetable we're looking at when you guys make that decision?
Great question. I'm going to let Darren answer that.
Yeah, mutual aid is a cornerstone of the electric industry, really the utility industry as a whole. And so certainly as soon as we know that the storm has cleared our area, and we don't need those resources, any of the other utility partners that may need them, we will work with them to get them there just as quickly as we can.
Is there a timetable on when you make that decision in terms of information you'll receive from the National Hurricane Center?
Yeah, it's just going to rely upon the forecast data that we're seeing from our third parties that we're working with on the weather data. So, yeah.
And as that forecast has changed in the last 12, 24 hours, how has that impacted how you guys prepare here in Houston? As for now, it looks like we're going to dodge this one, perhaps.
Yeah, right now we're still preparing as if it's going to hit Houston. We experienced some things with Beryl that we didn't expect, where the storm maybe adjusted course just a little bit, and a lot of people have discussed that. We don't want that to happen again, and so we're preparing as if it's going to make landfall in this area. And then as soon as we know that we're clear, we'll start to make those decisions.
Bill Barajas, KPRC Channel 2. I saw on the slide that you guys had about 2,000 local linemen. Does that include folks that are coming in town to be staged here as well in case you do get hit?
Darren, take that one as well.
Yeah, so the 1,850 that were up there is local. That includes all of our internal folks and then contractors that live and work in Houston every day. That's what makes up that 1,850. And then the 1,625 additional are mutual aid partners, where we've made a request to a service to have those additional 1,625 come in and support us.
And they're here now.
They're on the way.
And
They're
we've
on the
also
way.
got the 1,300 veg.
Yes, and that's on top of the 1,300 vegetation management, tree trimming crews that most of them will be on property by the end of the day today.
A lot of what was said today was about building that trust and being there for customers. I have an email from a customer says that he has a large pine tree in the utility easement that has not been inspected by a tree forester, and he's been trying to get somebody out there. For people like him who are worried if the storm was to hit us, his concern is that that pine tree would fall over and cause damage. What can you tell them? He said he's been trying to get a hold of CenterPoint.
Yeah, no, we would love to hear from customers like that, and we'd be happy to take a look at their trees. We do have a specific order type internally that we call a CSO around. It's a customer service order, but we actually run on those consistently, so we'd be happy to go look at his situation.
At this point, is that something that he could expect would happen before the storm would hit?
Without knowing his specific information and situation, I really can't answer that question, but we'd be happy to take a look at it.
It hasn't been obviously that long since Hurricane Beryl impacted Houston, so there hasn't been much time to adjust and learn, I guess, from the mistakes that were made back then. What lessons has CenterPoint learned in the short, 8 weeks as we are threatened with another storm in the Gulf?
Sure, I would make just a couple of points, and Darren has a lot of this content, but coming out of Beryl, we really said, okay, we need to really focus on all the things going on across the system. So the Greater Houston Resiliency Effort initiative that we've been putting forth over the last 8 weeks, and I mean, Darren can speak more to this, but has been really a significant amount of work to prepare the system to make sure that we are that strong, resilient coastal grid that we need to be. So Darren, you want to give him some more background on that?
Yeah, I can offer a couple of things, then I'll invite Tony up as well. I think he's got some things he'd like to share there as well. One of the things that we've instituted at the beginning of this storm that we didn't have at the beginning of the last one is a damage model that takes in a number of variables like soil conditions, vegetation health, wind speeds, other things to help us understand what the impact of the storm might be. And so we've been consistently running that damage model. It's allowing us to make decisions earlier about the number of resources we might need, the staging sites location. So I talked to you about the 4 staging sites. We already know where we would, set those up based on the path of the storm currently. So that is just an example of the types of things that we're doing so that we can be even more responsive to these events. And that's obviously on top of the resiliency investments that we've already made and will continue to make.
And maybe just outline those again for everybody. 2,000 miles of vegetation management.
Yeah, that's right. 2,000 miles of vegetation management, which, there's several ways to measure that, but just to give some context, 2.5 times the width of Texas in 30 days that we trimmed, right? So a lot of tree trimming. 300 trip savers, which are automated devices that will handle transient faults on the system. So think of a tree branch smacking the limb, because of the wind. Typically, that would cause a fault and cause an outage. With these trip savers, it will re-energize that line, and it'll try it a couple of times before it locks out. So we've added more than 300 of those to the system. And of course, more than 1,000 composite poles that, meet a wind standard of 132 miles per hour. So just examples. There's a lot more behind that, but we are taking this very seriously. Tony?
So yeah, another lesson learned for us was we need to make sure that we improve communications, right? Before, during, and after the storm, and also provide customers with information that they can use. We committed to making sure that customers have a global estimated time of restoration, 24 hours after a storm has left our service territory, 48 hours afterwards. They will have more of a regional level estimated time for restoration. At 72 hours post the storm leaving our service territory, they'll have more local and area related estimated times of restoration to give customers information that they can actually use to make decisions about what they want to do with their families, what they want to do about lodging, those types of things. And then one of the biggest things that I talked about earlier was our outage tracker. We know that not having an outage tracker was a very important means of communication for our customers, and we failed them by not having one during Hurricane Beryl. But we have one now, right? It's cloud-based, meaning that it can scale up. We tested the thing to emulate the same amount of traffic that you would have seen during a Hurricane Beryl event, and we have seen no erosion of the performance of the tool since then, and we'll continue to make sure that we test it in all of our back-end systems to make sure that it's readily available for our customers. And we're also encouraging customers to make sure that they sign up for Power Alert services, but making sure that we deliver those messages in a timely manner for our customers too, as we have information available for them.
Are those communications taking place between city and county officials as well as you guys have prepped?
Absolutely. So we have been working closely with city, county, local officials, or OEMs as well too.
storm might miss us, we're still gonna get some rain, especially on the coast. Is there anything being done on the coast specifically, just to be proactive? Are there gonna be rolling blackouts or anything like that?
So I'm gonna let Darren discuss that, but as I mentioned, so we do have a 12-county area that we cover. So Galveston is in our service territory, so I'm gonna let Darren really outline what we're doing there.
Nothing really on the radar in terms of rolling blackouts. There are preparations, if it's not going to be a direct hit, we still pay attention to storm surge and what that could do to some of our areas. Of course, that's an area that would be more prone to flooding. In certain cases, we may need to evacuate our employees, just like the local residents may need to evacuate, right? So we're watching those sorts of things, but we have made, significant investments down in that area over the years to, mitigate flood station or substation flooding, have more strong, composite poles, things like that in that area. So I think we're prepared, yeah.
And can you just talk to us about, and I know this has been touched on, but just the importance of getting it right if it does happen to hit our area?
Certainly, we see this as something critical that we do for our customers, right? I mean, the service that we provide, both gas and electric, is life-sustaining in many ways and is core to survival for folks. And we take that incredibly seriously. And, our performance during Beryl may not have reflected that completely. In fact, we know it didn't. And so we're ready to show everybody that we have improved and we certainly understand the service that we provide.
Is there anything that you guys have wanted to implement that haven't been able to, just because of time-wise? That you guys may still be working on?
Yeah,
Maybe phase 2 that we're.
Yeah, I mean, we just announced phase 2. There's, years worth of opportunity associated with, replacing a grid that's been around for 100 years, right? And these assets aren't the same ones that were here 100 years ago, but you can imagine the advances in technology, things move pretty quickly. And so there are new things coming to market all the time that will help us. So there's always something more that we want to do. We are building a plan now that we'll release by the end of January 31st, which will be our new version of the resiliency plan that will focus on these types of items, right? And the intention is to implement them over a 3-year period, 2026 through 2028. So yeah, there are certainly things that we want to continue to do, but we also believe we're off to a great start.
Yeah, and those immediate actions, again, were the 2,000 miles of vegetation management that we did in that short amount of time, replacing those 1,100 poles and adding those 300 reliability devices. That will help, obviously, with any type of smaller outages that we can avoid. So really been a lot of work and a lot of important work that went on during, part of July and most of August. And there's more work to do, as Darren said. So, all right, any other questions? All right, well, we really appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you so much. One of the commitments we made also to the state, as well as our customers, is that we would be front-footed and make sure that we're proactively communicating. So this is an important part of this. So this is what you can expect from CenterPoint going forward. Thank you very much. Have a great day and be safe.
Appreciate you all. Senior Vice President of our electric business.
But your boy cut, somebody cut the audio, but.
Yeah, they cut the audio.
When you're ready, let me know.
The technical part, though.
Go ahead. Tony Gardner, Senior Vice President and Chief Customer Officer, TonyGardner.
Yeah, that's all. Your title again?
Senior Vice President and Chief Customer Officer.
Jonathan Robb, JONATHAN, ROBB, Director of Emergency Preparedness and Response.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.